Welcome to Solving Issues with Subdivision. In this video, you will see a potential issue you may encounter when you use any form of subsurface division. And you will finish off, of course, the solution to the previous challenge. So let's hop straight back over into Blender. So back over in Blender, let's have a look at this top. So I'm going to place a 3D cursor at the very top here and make sure it's aligned perfectly to 009.5 because that is where it should be. And I'm going to add a circle and set it to be 0.6, and the number of vertices are going to make sure that matches 16, otherwise it will start getting a bit silly high. And I'm going to create a triangle fan. Okay, now that I've done that, I can hop into edit mode and extrude up by 0.5. So that is the sort of bulge at the top that I'm going for sorted. Now comes the more intricate bit where we're going to join a circle to a square. Not easy, so to speak. I'm going to set the 3D cursor to 11 on the Z axis, so moving it up, and I'm going to create a plane. And I'm going to subdivide that plane. I'm not subdivided by 3 cuts, or of course just subdivide and then subdivide again, and we end up with 16 squares. And of course that introduces 16 edges around the outside of this plane. I'm going to go ahead and select those edges, and hopefully if we then select the edges around here and go and bridge edge loops, we should end up with a relatively smooth join. And it looks like we have, brilliant. And then with circle select, selecting the faces on top, almost there, I'm just going to extrude that up by another 1, and that creates the full height of the pillar. If we turn on the pillar base as well, there's everything there. Wow, really tall pillar. Now I do want this top bit to be slightly wider than what it is, but we can deal with that in a bit. So looking at it, let's see how this performs with the multi-resolution modifier turned on. So I have to do that in edit mode, and there we go. So I've subdivided, it's 4 times we're going for. We've got a sharp edge around here. Now that, I believe, is because we've got an internal face going on. So looking at this down here, in wireframe mode, yes, we can see. Now, because I've still got this top selected, it's great because it means I don't have to select it again, I can just hit the H key. So I'll come out of wireframe mode there, hit the H key, and I can see down inside. Using circle select, I'm going to highlight all of those and delete just the faces. Okay, let's re-hide that. Let's unhide the top again, so it's one complete piece. And let's have a look at how that looks in object mode. That does look much better. It's very smooth, of course. Now you can end up with other artifacts happening if you're not careful with how you join things together. So this section round here, well, I want, let's go into edge mode, let's make that not 100%, I'm going to go for 0.8 and hop out. Yep, that looks good. I do want the top part of the pillar to actually be square though, so select those along there and holding down Shift and Alt, I'm going to do those ones there and mark those as 100% sharp. Excellent, so that's looking good. We've got, I'm going to just refocus on this, and now we've got this bottom bit to deal with. So let's select that edge there. Well, actually, before we do that, I'm going to hide the other bits. So I'm going to, don't need to hide that, pillar base and the pillar section. So I want to come around and do a similar thing to what we did before. So I'm going to select these faces here and just inset ever so slightly, and that is the one itself that's going to be 100% sharp. So whack that up to 100%. Excellent. So that's a nice smooth transition through, and we want some detail at the top here. So I'm going to add in, let's add in 4 loop cuts. So not 1 but 4, and I'm going to make just a little ridge around it. So 4, is it 4 I want? Yes. Okay. So I'm going to grab this top edge loop and bring it down. going to snap it to the other edge. So I'm going to grab that, and on the Z-axis bring it down right on top of that one. Here I'm going to grab and the Z-axis and bring it right on top of this one. There we go. Right, this should hopefully mean I can now, yeah, there we go, there's a confirmation. We've got a face marker on top of an edge. Selecting the face loop that goes around this thing, I can then extrude outwards. It says, let's try scaling outwards. I've still got snapping turned on, that's why it's caused me a problem. Scale that outwards. That looks really good, and it looks like I might have caused a few doubles during that little excursion outwards. So I'm just going to scale again by 0.1, it's only a little bit, and here I'm just going to highlight the entire model and remove doubles. Yes, I did inadvertently cause that. So hopping straight into object mode to see how this thing's looking, and we've got some artifacts being caused by this new addition there. So let's go in and sort that out. So that is this edge here. Now, do I want, I'm just going to see what it looks like. There's no harm in trying because it doesn't break any geometry doing so. I'm going to see what it looks like if I mark all of those edges there as sharp. Yeah, I've got them selected, and I don't want that one selected there. There we go. So let's just turn that up to 100% and see what that looks like. Okay, actually that's quite nice because it defines the edges. So it's just the ones underneath now. Doing that one there. Yep, that's running all the way around, and this one here. Excellent. And I do want a bit of a curve to the rest of it. So I'm quite happy with that, because of course I could go in and do these ones as well, running around, and if we bump those up, it ends up completely square at the top. In fact, I probably don't want them completely square at all anywhere. I want to have them having a slightly rounded appearance, so I'm going to lower that mean crease down. I think 0.7 might be a little... Oh no, that's turned out really well actually. It keeps it smooth. The only place I do want absolute 100% is right at the very top, because I do want it completely and utterly flat, and it is still completely and utterly flat. That's great. So let's turn on the other bits going on here, and well, that is looking pretty good. One final thing I do want to do here, I do want to scale it out ever so slightly. So this whole model here, I'm going to scale out, not big like that, and in fact not the whole lot, just this top bit. So I'm going to turn limit selection to visibility off. I'm going to look at it from a side view and zoom in so I can make sure I can grab the right bits. Then deselecting everything, I'm going to highlight the whole of the top bit and then scale it only in the y-axis. So it's no taller, no, but a little wider, and I'm going to make it 1.2, I think. That looks a bit better, and that is a good base for my archways at the top. Now the one thing we don't have at the moment is the little bulge I want going on down here. So the first thing is making that a bit sharper where it joins. Looking good. I'm going to add an edge loop in at 0 just here, and I'm literally going to scale that out and hope for the best. Hey, that's looking pretty good. What it does have is these creases coming down, which I don't want, so I'm going to have to go back in and select them without the Alt key, so I'm going to do them individually, and again I'm going to turn limit selection to visible back on. You don't have to try and select them all at once, you can do them individually. Right, with that turned down, that's much better. And of course what you can do around here is add a bit of a bevel, and that will control how much that bit pops out. Now to be quite honest, I think it does need to pop out a little bit more towards the bottom. So I'm just going to scale that bit outwards. Yeah, there we go. Perfect. So a bit more in detail with that top bit there, but it is important because otherwise you end up with some really nasty artifacts going on around the top here if you don't follow a certain procedure when constructing. Just do it piece by piece and try not to get bits inside of yourself as you go. So remember to delete inside faces as you go so you don't have to delete them later on. Okay, that's brilliant. I'm going to set that up. I'm going to bring in the rest of our scene, of course, and see what this looks like. Oh, they're all on layer 1. There we go. So that's looking pretty good. It's not quite at the right height. Okay, so the final thing to do here is, I'm in the top of the church. Okay, so we've got this here, and I can see that we've not named it yet. So let's name it Pillar Top. That's a good start. And what else do we need to do? This is not quite the right height yet, so I'm just going to select all of my bits and bobs, and I'm going to control it. Oh, we've got a bit of graphical nonsense going on here. No, I just need to scroll up. Move it in the Z-axis by 1, and there we go. That should be in the middle of our church, which is looking pretty good. Let's go ahead and hit render and see how that's looking. Excellent. How did you guys get on? I'd love to see how your pillar came out. Please share it in the discussions, and I will see you guys in the next lecture.